Podcast. I'm your host, Lucy, and I run Crescent Digital Marketing from where this podcast was born. Today, we're back after a little break over the summer, and I'm delighted to announce that this podcast is now sponsored. I feel all grown up. Yes, Crescent Podcast is now sponsored by the fabulous Purple Frog Signs Limited, who are a brilliant local business who design and make all sorts of signs. If you want to find out more, check out the blurb below and you'll find a link to their website. I'm very grateful to Louise and Chris for all their support, so thank you guys. And today I'm joined by the lovely Katie from Coaching by Katie, who specialises in working with midlife females, helping them break free from yo-yo dieting to get strong for life. Good morning, Katie. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, Lucy.
You are more than welcome. So why don't you tell us a bit more about your background and what led you to set up Coaching by Katie?
Absolutely. I spent, for much of my sins, I spent 15 years in financial services, which was, straight out of school, didn't really know what to do with myself, as many of us do. Opportunity come about to go into financial services, and I thought, why not? And it was fantastic, had a brilliant time. And kind of over the years had my children, which was, got two boys there, 11 and, God, I forgot their ages, 11 and 8 now. And over that time, I kind of, very much into my health and fitness, but I never really quite got it right. I spent the whole time kind of always trying so hard and never really getting anywhere. I was always I always felt like that person who was just always a little bit overweight, thought I was doing everything right, but nothing really seemed to work. So I had my children, sprung back, yo-yo dieted, lost weight for a little while. As we all do, we're tired, and our bodies change once we've had children, right, as well. So back unfortunately in 2020 when COVID hit, like many of us, I was working from home. Unfortunately, my husband at the time, he passed away. So I spent a lot of that time in COVID where I was, felt quite trapped. I was just basically surviving, if I'm quite honest with you. It was a really, really hard time, and it really made me kind of question, my life, really, like my life choices. What was I doing with myself? Am I just here? Am I here just surviving? Am I here just to plod along in a job which was okay? I liked it, but it didn't set me alight. So for the next couple of years, I kind of had that. There was a small kind of flame burning away inside of me where, I kind of gave myself a bit of a talking to. I was like, right, I need to sort myself out now. I need to really start taking care of myself. So I did, and I had my own experience where I found the most amazing coach who took me on my own journey where, thankfully I am where I am today because of her. And it really inspired me to go away and do my personal training exams and coaching, a coaching course. At the time, I was kind of just doing it for myself. Career-wise, I was kind of floundering slightly, if I'm honest. I think I was like, I know I want to do something, and I could carry on doing this. It's kind of easy. It's the easy option, but it didn't set me on fire. What I was missing, and I found what I was missing was that kind of real fulfillment and that feeling of wanting to leap out of bed in the morning. We spoke about that last time we spoke, didn't we? That feeling of like, however matter how hard life gets, you still want that passion to drive you. So it was actually one of my friends who turned around and said to me, you could do this. You can help women who've been in your situation. You can help them get this, freedom and lifestyle that, they're going to love, and to get them to a place that, results that they want. And at the time I thought, no, I can't do that. And it kind of like, that fire then ignited, and I thought, I can do this. And it kind of just springboarded from there, really. That's kind of where I started Coaching by Katie. And that was about, over 18 months ago. And I left my job in financial services just over a year ago now. And I've never looked back. Absolutely love every second. So I feel very, very fortunate.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think you're 100% right. It's finding that something that lights you up, that really does fulfill you. And other jobs, they can be fine, but having something that really makes you want to get out of bed in the morning and you have that enthusiasm for.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't, I think perhaps partly because, I've always been I'd say I've probably always been quite driven, but I've never really known. I think probably lots of us, and I do really feel for children leaving school at the moment, because it's really hard to find what it is that sets you on fire. And you might know early on, you might do, but it took me a long time, and I can't think of anything more than what I want in being able to literally transform people's lives and help them to a degree that, it's life changing for them, and that means so much more to me than anything else. So I feel very, very fortunate to have found my passion now, a bit later on, but we have to go through these kind of experiences, don't we, to shape us.
I can't believe that anyone just grows up knowing exactly what they want to do and it's perfect how they thought and they love it every day. That just doesn't, I just don't think that happens.
No, I don't, and I think a lot of a lot of experience you have, they shape you, don't they? They kind of there's people that you meet, and if I look back through, my time through financial services, I mean, let's be honest, it's a very male orientated environment. That's another conversation for another day.
Oh, yes.
But I look back and I think there are a handful of men in particular who have stood out for me in throughout my 15 years, who have been very, very influential, have been extremely supportive, and I think I wouldn't be where I am without them today. So there's people I think help shape you and influence you, to where you want to go.
So how do you find being your own boss? Because obviously it's a very different setup from being employed to then going self-employed. How do you find that side of it?
Yes, it's very different, isn't it? I think I think what helps is I've got a vision of where I want to be. I think it's one thing that I probably really struggle with is switching off, because it's always like, oh, I've got this great idea, I can't wait, I can't wait to talk to that person, and it's the excitement. I literally do wake up in the morning and I'm like, ping, and I'm like, the ideas are buzzing, and I love that side of it. I love that I've never had that before, and that's what I I crave for, that feeling of just being I can't wait to go about my day, and do what I do. So I think, if I'm honest, sorry for any potential future employers that might listen to this, but I think I'm probably unemployable now because I realise how much I like being my own boss. I like having the freedom. And I think a lot of my if I look back on the kind of the last couple of years in my career, I felt like a lot of my passion and drive was just kind of just falling off a cliff. It was going towards someone else's baby, which is, that's fine. But I realised that actually I want my own baby. I want all that drive and passion to go into my own, something that I've created. So I would say that, I say I love being my own boss. Sometimes it can be stressful. Let's not disregard that.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's really hard.
It is hard, but we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago. One of my, given what's happened in my life, losing who I did at that time, it has made me really focus on the fact that, with your children especially, you have such a short amount of time with them, and it's very, very easy to wish it away. We all go, oh, I can't wait for today to be over. Or more often than not, I want to be around. I want to be present. I want to have the freedom. I think that's probably the key word, is that freedom of, if I need to work in the evening, that's my choice. But I'm around for after school. I'm around when they need me, and that's really important to me. I want to look back, and I think again that's one of the best things about being self-employed, is that you do have that freedom and flexibility to give your time where you want it to go.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's such a common theme that I find when I talk with people who have made that leap to go self-employed. Probably to the point where some people think it's almost a cliche, but cliche is a cliche for a reason. It's true. That freedom to be there for your kids, or if you don't have kids, to be able to go to the gym when you want, or whatever it is, that you have that freedom. And I think it makes such a difference to your, I was going to say it makes such a difference to your work-life balance, but in some ways I work more than I did before. But then it's more what I want to do and I enjoy it more, so it doesn't feel quite like work. So it's a bit kind of swings and roundabouts, I suppose.
Is exactly that. I think it's not seen as a chore. It's because, like I said, when I do work, I'm like, oh yes, I've got to catch up with that client, or I've got to do this, and it's generally, it's not mundane. It's exciting, and I'm a real firm believer that we are put on this planet, we're put on this world to follow our dreams and, follow our purpose. And I don't believe that we should all be chained to, working all hours in the sun. It's not healthy, first and foremost, but life's so short, isn't it? We need to, live it to its fullest, and having that work-life balance, whatever that looks like to you,
Yes.
is
Yeah,
so is so important.
yeah, it's different for every person, no matter what your priorities are. So, yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
So you've just launched a special program, haven't you? Can you
I
tell us about that?
have. I can. I'm super, super excited about it. I've been working on it for a little while now. So, in a nutshell, it's something that I wish I'd had all those years ago when I started on my health and fitness journey. A lot of my clients come to me and they are just stuck. They have no idea. Their wits end because they feel like they've tried absolutely everything. Slimming world, fasting, keto, no carbs, doing loads of cardio, and nothing's working. Their bodies weren't what they were 10 years ago. What worked 10 years ago when they might eat a little bit less during the week, and that worked then, it doesn't work now. I think if you couple that with all the information that's pounded at us every day on social media, do this, you get this, take this and do that. It's like all these quick fixes. We're kind of in this culture where it's like you kind of moving on to the next thing, and you're just so confused, and it's horrible. It's a horrible, horrible space to be in. And as I said, a lot of my clients come to me at that stage where they're just, I don't know what works. So I developed, I've called it Fierce and Fabulous, because I want everyone will leave my program feeling fierce and fabulous. That's, I 100% believe that. It's for those ladies who just don't, who don't know where to start. So it's a very bespoke one-to-one program. It's a 4-step transformation framework. And what it will do is take you from that feeling of, out of control, nothing's working, to leaving after the 16 weeks, having all the tools where you're feeling confident again. You can put on that dress that has been hanging in your wardrobe for the last 5 years that you desperately want to squeeze into, and it's in there because you're going to do it. Mostly your lifestyle your new lifestyle is created in a way that is around you and it's manageable for you. So, what it isn't is where, there are lots of programs like this where, you're going to exercise 6 days a week, you're going to eat 6 meals a day, and you've got to meal prep. That's not realistic for most people. Lucy, you're a busy mum of 3. Like,
Yes.
you wouldn't even be able to, it's not possible for you.
No.
It wouldn't. So it's about working with the individual and understanding them. And I spend a lot of time at the beginning getting to know you and understanding what works for you. And it's about building a program that's based around you that we can work with week by week, that's going to get you the results that you want. And I had to say, I'm extremely results driven. I like numbers, I like visuals, we like results. So it's a program where you're going to come away feeling, so much more informed and confident, and you have that clarity of knowing what works for your body.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely key.
Exactly. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's not. We're doing away with the quick fixes. It's not fad diets. It's not quick fixes. It's a lifestyle that you can continue for the rest of your life. So it's not easy, but it's the most simple way and the easiest way in the less time that you have available.
I think that's it. That's absolutely key, because so many. I mean, I get bombarded with all sorts of ads, but it's quick fixes. I mean, there's obviously all the jabs out there at the moment that you can get for good or bad. I still am reserving judgment. And the latest one I've seen are the sticker patches that you put on your skin.
There's honestly there's so and this is the problem. There's so much, and we see an ad on Facebook or Instagram, get ripped in 30 days, and of course you're like, oh great, how do I do that? And then look into it and you think, well, it's just not. You've got these amazing like bikini models who are who are modeling them, and you're looking at them thinking, well, I'm going to look like that, and it doesn't happen. And this is the thing, we should be, especially as we age as women, we should be looking after our bodies. We should be celebrating them. We are they've given us children. Why are we punishing ourselves with ridiculous workouts? Why are we punishing ourselves? That's, of course, if you enjoy them, that's a different story. Why are we punishing ourselves with not eating? Why are we going all week, barely living off, 1,000 calories, and then at the weekend, because we're so deprived, just, binging? It's not the way
Yeah,
we want to be.
yeah,
And it's so easy to fall in that trap. And again, I speak to so many women who are just I just don't know what to do. And actually, I've seen a lot, and it's just about introducing slow habits. I mean, obviously you mentioned the injections there. Obviously that is very, very topical at the moment. Again, I think we touched upon this the other week
yeah.
when we
We do.
spoke, but it's I have got clients that are taking them. Again, I don't believe it's a magic wand, because it's not. It's dealing with one small part of a bigger problem. I don't really like using that word, but a bigger thing. So yes, it's you're getting your kind of eating habits under control, but you also need to be ensuring that you are making sensible lifestyle choices at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's the. I know a few people who have done the jabs. One person, he's had fantastic results, but other people I know, as soon as they've stopped, they've just put the weight back on again, because, as you say, you're not changing those habits. It's just a quick temporary fix.
And yeah, and this, and one of the, probably even the bigger problems, and this is why the clients I do work with that are taking them, is that we work a lot on education around this, is that losing weight very, very quickly is obviously very tempting. We all want to lose weight, but very, very, and you see those scales going down, you're thinking, oh my god, this is fantastic, great. Now, if you're extremely overweight, then I'm talking about the more kind of the people who probably need to lose a stone, or whatever else it is. But the problem is, when you're losing weight quite significantly every week, is that what you're actually doing is losing muscle as well as body fat. And building muscle is the most important thing that we can be doing for ourselves as we age. It's, unfortunately, as women, as we kind of go into perimenopause and menopause and beyond, our estrogen levels decline very, very rapidly, and with that, so does our muscle mass. So already we're kind of on the back foot without doing a weight loss where potentially we're losing even more muscle. So when you are taking these injections, or you're doing these injections, it's really, really important to really prioritize strength training, because we want to be building and preserving muscle, because that is what's going to make you look toned and lean. But not only that, your joints are going to be supported, your bones are going to be stronger, you're going to give yourself longevity, your blood sugar is going to be regulated easier. There's so many benefits of it. I could literally talk to you about it for days and days, but that is fundamentally one of the key things. I think, if anyone that is doing them, just please look at strength training, make sure that you're eating well around it, because especially if you're on that journey, you're doing a lot of the hard work already. It's just those kind of last pieces that when you do finish, you're going to be able to maintain your results and look fantastic because of them.
So with your program, I think you said it's 16 weeks. What's the structure? How does it work? Is it all online? Do clients come to you? What's the setup?
So it's all, so my whole program's delivered all online. So depending on, we will do, throughout that process, we'll do a number of one-to-one calls where we'll talk through. Initially, it's consultations and setting up your program, but then it will be discussing your progress and celebrating your wins. That's a huge one for me. It's so important. Also, kind of navigating any, not problems, but any kind of scenarios where you feel uncomfortable. Like eating out for some people is quite a big one. They feel, especially when they're in a dieting phase, they feel very worried about eating out because they've been, felt maybe perhaps not been as much control before. So it's about navigating those types of situations. So I have an app as well. So everything that I do is delivered via my app. So when you become a client, all the programs are delivered there. We set you up with a nutrition program, a meal plan that's personalised to you. We set you up with a strength training program off the back of what I just said. Again, a lot of you don't need have a gym membership. Some of my clients do. Others simply work out from home, and it's completely possible from home with minimal equipment. And again, contrary to popular belief, 2 or 3 workouts a week is all you need to get results. I'm about effective, efficient training. You don't need to be training for hours and hours on end.
So I guess a big part of it is changing your mindset away from the quick fixes, the trying to eat nothing, work out all the time, and then obviously you have the big crash where you then want to eat everything. And so if you go and change your mindset.
Exactly that, Lucy. And the thing is as well, let's be very clear, it's not an overnight thing. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's very, very easy. There's a lot of noise that it can take up in your head of, I've got to get enough this, I can't eat that, I've got to do more here, I've got to do, so it's about really breaking it down into kind of bite-sized chunks, really. And these bite-sized chunks will make up your day. So it's not about spending hours in a day, it's about finding time in your day. Like, we spoke last week, for example, I'm a morning person. So I know that for me, I have to get my exercise done early, because I know that come 5 o'clock, I'm pretty much done for the day. I'm going to be talking myself out of it. Whereas you're the other side, aren't you? You're an evening person. So for you, it's exactly. So it's about having those little things. And the thing is, again, it's like anything. You don't need to do massive leaps of things to make huge changes. It's actually all about the small little things you do that all add up. Consistency. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And the thing is, when you start seeing those results and the feeling, how much better you're feeling, what energy you have, your body starts changing, and you're getting compliments. You can look in the mirror without going, suck it in, or what angle's best. We all do that as well. It's also, a lot of it is mindset, which is why, I spend a lot of time with my clients on a one-to-one basis, kind of unpicking what is it here, like what's, do you have triggers? And it's just about navigating. And the more you go through a process, the more you trust yourself, and you know that you can do it. And it's honestly the best feeling, just being, again, back to freedom. It's that freedom where you know what you need to do. You don't need to be following what's on social media, or what that person's doing or that person's doing.
Yeah.
You do what you need to do.
Yeah. What works for you. And I think the other thing that I really loved about it is that it's a 16-week program, which I know it sounds quite long, but if it's like an 8-week program, in my mind, like that, it's kind of over and done with quite quickly. Whereas like 16 weeks, you're building those habits so that afterwards you'll continue doing that.
It's exactly that. I mean, so the stage 4 or phase 4 of my program is probably one of the most important phases, and it's a phase a lot of people miss out. And essentially, it's the reverse dieting phase. So, if you've ever done anything like Slimming World, for example, or Weight Watchers, you lose the weight, and then what? You kind of you carry on doing it. So, but what tends to happen is you lose the weight and you go, oh, I've lost the weight now. I'll go back to normal. So you just kind of revert to normal habits, and that's where that kind of yo-yo comes in, because whatever you do, you just kind of go down, up, down, up, down. So what I do is teach you all the tools in order to keep your results, and we do that by essentially reverse dieting. So it's getting you to a stage that's maintainable, where you're not on ridiculously low calories. You can maintain your results, but it's enjoying them, maintaining them as well. It's not hard work. So that's my goal. And of course, the 16 weeks is going to looks different for absolutely everyone, depending on what your goals are, depending on, if you want to lose weight, how much you've got to lose. It varies from person to person, but the end goal is to give you all the tools you need to be able to sail off into the sunset, skipping whilst looking in the mirror thinking I'm fabulous.
There's something you said earlier about celebrating the small wins, and I think that's key as you go along, because if you're just focusing on the end goal, once you've got to that and it's woohoo, you've done that, it kind of peters off again. But if you celebrate the small wins as you go, in life generally, I suppose, then
it's so true. And I have to say, I don't know if I said to you, I'm getting married in a couple of weeks, and it's something that my fiance, he's really taught me this, and I make sure you correctly picked up the point, because even like this morning when you said to me, oh, I've got a sponsor for a sponsor for my podcast, generally that's fantastic, and you should be like, that's amazing. But I'm not saying you do this, but we all so quickly go, oh, great, what's next? Oh, great, what's next? Rather than going, I worked really hard to get to that point and I've got it and it's amazing, it's fantastic, look at what I've achieved, rather than just going, okay, what's next? So that's something, even if it's the smallest things. I mean, I had a client this week going out for dinner. For hers, it was a really big thing. She was very much in that kind of binge restrict cycle. So she'd always been very good during the week, and then got to the weekend and be like, oh, I've been really good this week. I'm going to reward myself. I'm allowed this. So because of that behaviour, for her, the association of going to eat out is like, oh my God, oh no, I can't. I'm out of control. I'm not going to do it. But she went out and she said, I felt great. I didn't have a dessert because I didn't want one. That's fantastic. I said, well, how do you feel? And she's like, oh. I was like, no, but how do you feel? And she's like, actually, I feel really great. I was like, exactly. So you told yourself, you've just proved to yourself that actually you're more than capable of going out, and it should be an enjoyable thing. So it's even simple things like that where we should absolutely be celebrating our wins more. All round work, life, relationships, everything.
Yeah, definitely. My eldest son started secondary school last week, and he's been really anxious and really nervous about it. It's completely understandable, going from it was a really small school to big secondary school, and he's actually come home like smiling the last couple of days, and he's
so lovely.
I'm not so I go as far as he's enjoying it, but he's not hating it, and he was happily doing his homework last night, and I was just like, oh, yes, this is good.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, it's that feeling of just like recognizing, and it is simply as small as just being in that moment and going, I feel really happy, like right now that and it's just simple as that. And I think once you start doing that, with everything, even a little small things, it's I guess it makes a bit of gratitude, isn't it, in a way as well? Thinking, celebrating the small stuff and just being, grateful for what you have and what you're achieving. It's again so easy to be, again, social media. You're looking and thinking, well, this person, well, they're doing this, so they must be, they must be making loads of money, or they must be, on this fantastic weight loss, or anything. It's very easy to feel a bit insignificant, and that's why it's so important again to celebrate those even the tiniest small wins. It's so important.
Definitely. So if you could go back in time, what's the one piece of advice you'd give your younger self, be it about work or life or family, or what do you think you'd say?
If I'm honest, I think it'd probably be on that point. I think try and be present. I think I spent a lot of my younger years just kind of laser focused on, I want to get to this stage, without really thinking about, wow, I've got this beautiful home, or I've got this great job, or I'm really happy because of XYZ. It's like, right, what's next? So it's something that I've really, really tried to do, especially recently, is just be really present and grateful for like what I have achieved so far in my life. I've still got that goal. So I think I'd go back and I'd probably tell I tell my kids it all the time, you have to just be in the moment, be present. And I think that's probably the advice I'd give my younger self, is just be a bit more kind of in the moment, be a bit more present, stop being laser focused on, what's going to happen in the future, because it's very easy. You can overlook important things, really. Good question, Lucy. I like that question.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been so good talking to you. I'll put your link and everything in the blurb so if people want to get in touch and find out more about your programme, they can. And thank you again to Purple Frog Science for sponsoring this podcast. I'm really, really grateful. And have a good week, everyone. Thanks again, Katie.
Thank you, Lucy. Lovely to see you.
And you.